aqui.
Fica aí, eu vou como é que
Fica aí, ó.
Alright, how are you looking? Round table.
Look like we're all a bunch of alcoholics.
No. Alright. Over here, everybody knows Vojieto. Over here, Mama. Everybody knows Mama. Now.
É tudo velho aqui. Tá tudo bom que tá se receber.
No, no,
Só
just
tá
tell,
com...
where's your cup, Vavo?
I can drink because I drink my Medicare.
She can't drink because she's taking medication. You can't drink nothing, maybe a little...
I'm sorry, I can drink
No,
that.
no, I
No.
was hoping I can get her drunk and get some secrets out of her, but I
It's
guess
always
that's not gonna happen.
That's all.
She's only going to watch us drink. Now, when you talk about Portuguese soup, right, like I made here in this video for you people to see, well, the video before, is this. Everybody has their own take on how to make Portuguese soup. I'll never forget when I was trying to make canja, and Vavo said, you come over here, I'll show you how to make canja. Side by side, actually, she came to my house. She was on one side, I was on the other side. I put exactly what she put in, and it came out 100% different. So there's some science to this. You know, it's almost like the science of the soul, if you would. Depends on how much passion you have on what you're making. Quando Vavo faz uma sopa portuguesa, o que é que Vavo mete dentro de uma sopa portuguesa?
Primeiro é na
Caldo
sopa
verde,
portuguesa.
you know.
Não é caldo verde é diferente.
Okay.
Sopa portuguesa, o cozido, a gente põe água,
So she says
a
water.
gente mete duas outras colheres de azeite só.
Yeah. 2 or
Uma
3
cebola
spoons
cortada em
of
potes.
olive oil. An
Uma cebola
onion cut
cortada em
up.
pacotes.
Yeah.
Mete a carne a cozer. Mete a carne, mete o
Mas a
chouriço.
carne é uma carne em cheio ou é uma hambúrguer?
With
É carne com bones.
So you would put like in this you'd put
meat with bone.
yeah, like a meat with bone in it would be like a prime rib with a bone in it. Yeah.
Piece de carne. Mete chouriço,
Some chouriço in there.
põe-se a cozer.
Yeah.
À parte, a gente põe batata, cenoura,
Mhm.
inhões a cozer e a gente põe repolho. Vai tudo a cozer. Põe-se o cheirinho de azeite também, sal.
No mesmo coisa.
Não, separado.
So in another one,
Separate.
in another bowl, right? In another pot, you're gonna do some yams or sweet
Sweet potato.
Sweet potatoes.
too.
yams. You're gonna do some cabbage. You're gonna do some
Carrots.
carrots in there, a little olive oil also, and that's gonna come to a boil.
Ok. A batata doce, a gente...
And potatoes.
Não, a batata doce não.
No,
A batata...
mas vou meter batatas lá dentro.
A batatas também.
Yeah, and
Batata-
potatoes in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A batata doce, a gente enrola com azeite,
Yeah.
ou óleo,
Yeah.
embrionamos, só limpá-la. Mete-se no fogão.
Ah, see.
Por causa do juice, falta cozer na água, tira o gosto da batata doce.
So
It's
she's
not
saying that
dulce.
she actually bakes the sweet potato. She, bathes it in olive oil, a little aluminum foil into the oven. It goes and it bakes. Got it.
Quando está pronto, a gente tira a casca fora.
And when you're done, you take out the skin of it.
Fica o juice tudo ali dentro.
Yeah. So
You
there's
know?
like a juice in there after it's baked. Yeah.
É só.
It stays in the aluminum foil.
A carne quando está cozida, a gente tira para fora, mete na travessa.
Uh-huh.
Depois mete o repolho, também está cozido, tudo cozido.
Uhum.
A gente faz a nossa travessa.
Uhum.
Pega-se na água, a gente coa.
Uhum.
Faz uma sopa.
Ah.
You know
So
what I
it's almost like a boil. So basically,
It's like a boil then. The water from the boil then you make the soup.
right.
The soup.
Yeah. So originally, when you put the chouriço, you put the cabbage, you put the what do you call that?
A carne.
Yams.
The yams, all this stuff after goes in all together.
Yeah.
It goes on together. And then you drain that to make the
Yeah.
soup.
Fish
So
water.
it's the juice from the boil. Well, originally the sweet potato's not in there. So
No.
when you start, it's just
It's just
the
you put the meat aside.
meat.
Then,
The meat gets put on like a tray on the side. Chouriço goes on that tray.
then you
The cabbage goes on that tray.
okay, those waters that the
Yeah,
liquid,
the liquid that's left over,
you drain.
you drain
And you
it.
put it all together to make the soup.
Ah, so all liquids that are left over, that's your broth.
The broth.
And then
Yeah.
what? The meat, you pull the meat and it goes.
If you want to put the meat in it, you can. If you not, if you can't.
Chouriço, you pull it and
you-
it goes.
You can make just a bowl
the
dinner.
sweet
leave that
potato.
aside.
Yeah, but that's a boiled dinner. But I'm talking about making
If you don't put chorizo, you can cut it up. The chorizo, put
But
it
this
in
is
there.
how you guys do it. So it would be a mix. So when you would do a boiled dinner, the leftovers from the boiled dinner would be the soup.
You can put the old meat, or whatever's left over from that meat. You
Yeah.
can put in the soup.
Whatever's left over. You guys
Yeah,
put-
You can peel.
She said she made that today.
You can peel the cabbage, potatoes, and you put in that soup.
Mhm.
And you can put kale,
Tut bocadinho, yedinho, metes de
chop it all up, and put in the
metes
soup.
puffdinho, a massa
What's
é que a gente
puffdinho?
puffdinho.
Puffdinger. She's saying puffdinger. Puffdinger, I think, is a little,
It's
little,
pasta.
like little teeny there, the little
A
pasta.
massa que a pessoa gosta, qualquer moça.
So
You
leva
can
massa.
put anything. You can put in
A pessoa põe esparguete,
Yeah.
bocadinhos, you
anything
know.
else. You can break up the spaghetti small. You can put it in there.
But my whole point, you see how different and how it's morphed already since what I made to what they're talking about? Very different. So their Portuguese soup would derive from a boiled dinner. They're making a boiled dinner. The leftovers from the boiled dinner basically made the soup. That's how that worked, you know?
Yeah.
And it all depended on the spragish, how much money you had.
Yeah.
Because if you lived in Lisbon and you were a wealthy person, chances are you're not putting potatoes in there. You're putting a high-grade bean in there, right? You're putting some rice in there or
It doesn't
something.
taste as good as from St. Michael.
Ah, but that's biased from being St. Michael, right?
No, it's
É
not,
ter
it doesn't
so- é
taste
põe
better.
sempre,
Ah,
é pôr sempre feijão na sopa.
yeah, and she
Because
likes to put the
they're very
feijão
good.
in the soup,
Yeah.
which is the bean. But listen, that is from morphing from living in a poor country that they grew up in, or poor times. Even here was poor times, right? But still, they grew up in those poor times. They used very little bit of what they had, and they mixed everything together to make meals, you know. Then they come to America. Now they can afford to buy, like I said earlier, mushrooms. They could afford to put beans in there. They could afford to put this in there. So it changes.
Yeah.
Like if you're in Lisbon, from Lisbon to the Porto, right?
They cook
There's
different.
there's a very vast distance,
They cook very different.
and they cook very different. But still, if you're in Lisbon in the city, you're gonna cook with what you have. Now, if you go up country more, guess what you have? You have curve, you have potatoes,
Everything
you
from
have
the
beans,
yard, yeah.
you have all you have.
O feijão é
Better.
ralado. Tem ralado
Yeah,
feijão.
yeah. I said, like I put refried beans in my soup, and I said I can only wait to see.
Quando a sopa está pronta, mete-se gosto de hortelão lá dentro.
Outron. What's outron?
Mint.
Mint. Yeah. See. Okay. See. There you go.
Metes lá dentro.
Mint. You could put Bailey's in there,
Yeah.
and then you pull that stuff up, but the mint stays in. It's whatever. So,
Quando se vai comer, tira-se hortelão fora.
but the tricky part is, man. Everybody would ask me, or people would ask me in general, "Hey, man, how do you make Portuguese soup?" And it's hard to say because
Everybody has their own technique.
everybody has their own thing to
Yeah.
make.
Because other people add things, and then
Yeah.
the person doesn't like that,
Right.
doesn't add it.
So is there like one base way? I think I made the base way. The base way I made it was onions, right? And then I added the potatoes, water with some broth in it, right? And then I added the kale. And then I added uxeriz, but I didn't add the squares or
You
chunks.
don't have to.
It's
put whole
bouillied. I
thing.
put it in
You
there.
can cut it
Yeah,
out.
chorizo is cooked, so it doesn't matter. It's smoked, I'm sorry. So I added the chorizo in here, and that's it. That's the basic soup
That's
portuguesa that I made.
That's
With the costume called vid. And from what I understand,
Hardwood, no way, sir.
was it called vid? Wasn't it
Called
called?
vid,
Okay,
that's
called vid then. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought called vid was because of the kale turned the
No.
thing. What's called vid then?
it.
There we go. We're gonna get educated.
O corte todo que vinha muito pequenininho,
Yeah,
pequenininho,
you chop it very, very, very fine.
Well,
pequenininho.
kale,
The kale.
like
Yeah.
I did, yes.
E a batata ralada
You
Oh,
cook, you
hold on,
cook the
but I made
potatoes.
my
e
potato.
azeite.
You cook
Oh,
them,
okay,
and then
that's what
you-
I made then.
E
You mash
azeite,
them.
that's all.
That's exactly what I just
Easy.
made. That's perfect. Yeah, it's
You
simple.
and-
É diferente,
and you
agora
put-
Portuguese
you cook it-
soup
And you put
leva
the
mais
chorizo in
coisas,
there.
é mais pouco, tem
And you
mais
put the chorizo in there.
vitamina.
I did, but the chorizo was like weed.
Or you can, whatever your taste is. And you put the kale. Don't
A
let,
salute. That's for the people that
don't
are
let
no
the
longer
kale
with
cook
us.
too much.
Huh?
Don't let the kale cook too much.
Yeah, yeah, right. The kale, you want to cook it through and through, but 20 minutes after that, after 20 minutes, you kill it. It's too much, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to overcook the kale.
What's those soup, Posties? Something like that.
Trying to get the best angle here.
He's
Well,
at
let me tell you.
Addie's house.
With the potatoes, the kale, and everything else, fantastic. Perfect. Super good.